Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and in today's video we're going to be looking at 10 Wonderkids that you guys can sign in your FM22 saves for under £500,000. Okay everyone, here we are, and as mentioned in the intro, we're going to be looking at 10 Wonderkids that you can sign for under 500k in FM22. Now this is probably going to be a bit of a quicker video than usual, but the idea being that all of these players have the potential in your saves to go on to be a Wonderkid with their potential range, and also you can sign them usually for under £500,000. There could be an exception where these players are on like the maximum end of their potential range and it might go up to 600,000, 700,000, but most of the time all of these players can be signed for under 500,000. So whether you're a big team with a little bit of money to spare, or whether you're a team without much money looking to make a very shrewd signing that could potentially make you a lot of profit in the future, this will hopefully be the video for you. But before we get into the 10 players, I just want to ask you guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like button on today's video and comment down below if you signed any of these guys or any Wonderkids that you signed that have come quite cheap, hopefully under that £500,000 mark. And finally, if you haven't already, then subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell as we get very close to 125,000 subscribers. I'm a busy man, I'm sure you guys are busy too, so let's get right into player number 1. Okay, here we are with player number 1. Now the majority of players in this list will be playing for smaller reputation clubs, and that's why you'll be able to get them for so cheap. But this is an exception to the rule. We've got Alvaro Carrillo, a 19-year-old Spanish centre-back. He plays for Real Madrid's B team Castilla, and despite the fact that he's 5'11" and maybe not the physical presence you might want at the back, he actually does quite a good job. He might not be the quickest, but he's strong. He's got good stamina, good natural fitness, good jumping reach. On top of that, he's got some very nice technical defending attributes and some good mentals to go alongside it too. He's not the finished product. He's not going to be the starting centre-back at Chelsea or Real Madrid anytime soon, but he does have the potential to go on to be a starting centre-back at maybe a mid-level, lower-level Premier League club. Of course, that depends on many things, where his potential has fallen in your saves, how you've trained him and that kind of thing. But I think for under £500,000 or around that, you can, it says 80 to 800,000, but you can get him for 500,000 or less. I think to be able to sign a player of this quality for your guys' sides is a real big coup, because I mean it's a Real Madrid produced Wonderkid. Why would you not want to pick him up for £500,000? Even if he's a little small, maybe you can retrain him to a different position, I don't know. But yeah, that's Alvaro Carrillo, player number 1. Let's move on to player number 2. Okay, player number 2 now, and some of you guys might remember that in FM21 we did a video on Wonderkids under £100,000. That wasn't possible this year because there just isn't really enough of them to make a video about. But I mean, you can still get some real talent for super cheap, and this guy, Julio Enciso, a 17-year-old Paraguayan who has already appeared 2 times for the national team. He plays for Libertad in the Paraguayan Premier Division, there you go, and yeah, what a player this is for a 17-year-old who can be picked up for way under £500,000 if you negotiate it right. I mean, physically, very good for a 17-year-old with plenty of room to improve. He's got the pace, that's awesome to start with for a winger, and the other stuff will develop over time. Mentally, again, fairly good, not the world's best mentally, but he's got enough there to work with as a 17-year-old. His determination is pretty nice too, but it's when we hop over to the technicals and see that he's got 12 technique, 12 passing, 13 long shots, 12 first touch, good finishing, good dribbling, good crossing. He is going to make the perfect inside forward or inverted winger for your guys' sides once he's developed a little bit. And to be able to get a player like this for your guys' sides without really spending any significant chunk of money is pretty incredible now. I just think this guy is such a good little pickup for under £500,000. Yes, it might be the case that with some of these players in this list, including Enciso here, that you might not have the league loaded and therefore can't find him. It's all about how you set up your database, but maybe we'll make a video on that in the future. But if he is in your save, he's got to be a pickup, hasn't he? What a talent this guy is. He's going to be someone that I look at in all my saves now. Speaking of, if you guys want to check out me and my saves, you can find my channel linked in the description. We have a Newcastle save going on. We're slowly pushing for 5,000 subscribers by Christmas. Getting very close now, only a few hundred more needed. So if you want to check it out and be a legend, that would be awesome. But let's move on to player number 3. Okay, here we are with the 3rd player in today's list. Now, just bear in mind that in these 10 players, this isn't every Wonderkid under £500,000. It's just the ones I've chosen to pick, the ones that we haven't covered in too many videos already. For example, we could have had a load of amazing approach to sign Wonderkids in there, but there's going to be a separate video on that. And plus, that's not really under £500,000 because of the compensation issues. But these players you can literally outright buy for £500,000, around that or less. And what a pickup this player would be. It's 18-year-old Venezuelan Yusuf Chermitti. We've had a few Venezuelan wonder kids appear in these cheap wonder kids lists recently. They seem to be doing quite well in terms of producing some stars of the future. You will have to battle the mighty Charlotte FC to get your hands on this guy. You should be fine realistically. But he is playing for Deportivo Táchira out in the Venezuelan Premier Division. If I get the pronunciation wrong, just let me know in the comments and I'll try and correct it for next time, although I can't imagine we'll be coming back to this club too often. Anyway, as a winger, this guy is a very good prospect at 18 for such a cheap price. Very good physically, arguably one of his best sections in terms of his attributes, because he is quick, he does have stamina, he's agile and he has balance, which is great for a winger of his age. Yes, he's 5'5", but it doesn't really matter. Mentally, he's also pretty exceptional for a player of 18 years of age. Everything is at a decent level and he's definitely got a great base set to build up from, and then his technicals maybe lack compared to some of the other players we'll look at, but with 13 technique, 11 long shots, 12 first touch, 14 dribbling and 12 crossing, he's no slouch. He's got some good attributes there. He's going to need a little bit of work, but at maximum growth this guy could definitely be a Premier League quality winger. And yeah, I mean, even at the start you might say he's good enough to be a Championship winger, might need a little bit of work in the physical department to do so well in the Championship, but Yusuf Chermitti, is he going to be a pickup in your says? If you've got him loaded, why not spend £1 million on him and the player that we looked at before, and you've got two very good winger prospects coming through your side. 4 players in now, and it's a player that always seems to appear on these cheap wonderkid lists. It's Benjamin Rodriguez, the 18-year-old Uruguayan. Now, before we look at him, I'm just going to answer a question that we get a lot in these videos, and that is about work permits in the UK and signing wonderkids. And you ask why we show certain players when you can't get a work permit for them. Well, one, I would say that there's plenty of people who don't manage in the English divisions where work permits aren't as much of an issue. There's also the idea that you could potentially scout these players, add them to a shortlist, and when they do eventually start appearing for their national team, if they do have that potential and get that good, then you can try and sign them. Yes, their price might have risen up a little bit, but they're still definitely players to add to your shortlist and keep an eye on. And sometimes it's not too bad to sign a player without a work permit. You can always loan them out, put them to an affiliate club, and you never know, by the time they've developed into that 21, 22-year-old player that could potentially be featuring in your first team, they could have got the points they need to get a work permit in Britain. So yeah, we're not just going to eliminate players because they might not get a work permit. I don't think that's right. I only explain that because I get a few comments on each video about work permits and why you would show these players, so I'll just explain it there. So thank you for listening. But we do have Benjamin Rodriguez as our 4th player. Like I say, he's appeared a few times, the Uruguayan. He is a very good winger option on either side, either footed, good physically, good mentally, good technically, not standing out in any area particularly, but not lacking in any area either. His contract is running low at Defensor Sporting, who are a Uruguayan club in the Segunda Division, and that means his value is very low. You can actually go and approach to sign him, but if you just want to outright buy him, you can get him for under £100,000. I mean, if you can pick this guy up for like 40, 50k, what a player that is. Particularly if you're in the lower divisions of your guys' leagues, this guy could really grow into a massive money maker for you, or a great player to contribute to your guys' sides. Halfway through now, and this is a player that I did not expect to appear in this list. It's James Balogheezy of Liverpool. Now, he's one that outside of Football Manager I've heard a lot about. I know that there's plenty of hype around him when it comes to people looking at English youngsters, and he's done quite well at Liverpool, already capped for the under-18 England team. However, at least in this save, he's available for under £550,000. Now, that could be because his potential might be on the lower side. If it is, let's say that his potential can be 10 higher. In your guys' saves, this price range might then be 300,000 to 1 million, at which it might be a little over that £500,000 budget, but it would still make it worthwhile. I mean, you could probably get him in this save here for about £200,000-300,000, maybe even less, if you negotiate the deal right, and you'll be getting a very good English youngster, only 17 years of age, work permit issues, forget about him, you don't need him, he is English, and he is going to develop to a very good level, because at the age of 17, he's not the best player in the world, but he's got great technique, great passing, really good dribbling, first touch and long shots, really good mental attributes too. His physicals seem to be his weakest area, but they can be developed, I'm sure. What a player this guy is at Liverpool as well, which means chances are most of you will have Liverpool and the Premier League loaded into your guys' saves, and for that reason, he's got to be one of the must-signs of Football Manager if his price is ever this low for you guys. Continuing with our list, and we have the first striker of today's video, and I've got to admit I did laugh a little bit when I read his name, just because he's a Colombian 15-year-old, like amazing, a 15-year-old wonder kid with attributes like this already for so cheap. He's going to be a great signing for you guys, but just the fact that he's a Colombian 15-year-old with the last name McCormick, I find that quite interesting. I don't know what the story is behind that. That last name is commonly associated with Scotland, so I don't know how that's came about, but it is Holman Mccormick, playing for Independiente Santa Fe in Colombia in the Liga Betplay. I really like this guy actually. I hadn't seen him before I started curating the list for this video, and as a 15-year-old striker, obviously the best part about 15-year-old Wonderkids is they're so young with so much potential that you can just kind of mould him into whatever style you want. If you want him to be a really good finisher, you can do that, because he's still got 6 years of your guy's saves before he even hits 21, before he's even expected to be playing at a decent level. So what a player this guy can be for under £500,000. Again, another one where he might have to be in your save, but he's already got some good attributes to start with, some really nice technicals already. He can head the ball too, even though he's 5'8", he's fairly quick. Some decent mentals, not the best, but decent for a 15-year-old. And who knows what he can do. He's too young now to really say whether he can shine or fail in this particular save, but that's your guy's job. Pick him up, develop him, and see what happens. Okay, heading into the final few players now, and this is someone that I'm very aware that I've covered before, but he is just one of my favourites in FM22 just because of how cheap you can get him. This is Yusuf Chermitti. He is a 17-year-old German national with a great set of attributes to start with. Yes, they're not going to blow you away, but some decent technicals to build off, some decent mentals, as well as some great determination and some nice physicals. The best part about him, I think, though, is that he is in an accessible league to everyone. He's in the Bundesliga 3, I believe, with Victoria Köln. It's quite strange that he slipped down the division so much, because just going to the wanted thing here, you can see Bayern Munich want him, continuing the tradition of Bayern Munich buying up all of the promising players from every other German club. But I mean, if this guy was in Bayern Munich's team, he's going to be valued at way higher than this. There's nothing to do with his contract. His contract isn't running particularly low. He is just valued at so little because he's playing for a club where that money is massive to them. But realistically, that can be pocket change to most of your guys' sides to buy a player who, if you put him in your youth team, is probably going to stand out in your youth team and eventually go on to be a potential Premier League player. I just really like him. You put him in that attacking midfield role and I'm sure that he could perform very well for you guys. Final 3 players on this list now, and we have got Alex Cardero. Now, looking at him, yes, he's a great Spanish youngster playing for Real Oviedo in the 2nd division in Spain. Some great attributes all around. Maybe his physicals is where he lacks, but he's still fairly quick with some good mentals and technical attributes too. What's awesome about this guy though is there's no debate about whether he's going to be signable for under £500,000 in your saves. All you have to do, he's a Spanish youngster, always worth checking their release clauses, £240,000. Just over £200,000 for a real Spanish gem is definitely worthwhile. Like I say, he's got some great attributes to build up of, and he's definitely going to be valued at more when you sign him for your guys' teams. I think he's a really good potential Wonderkid for your guys' sides. I won't stick around on it for too long, but do like the video if you are enjoying so far as we head in to our final 2 players in today's list. Okay, 2 strikers to finish off today's video, and firstly we're looking at Yusuf Chermitti. Another cool thing about him is once again he's playing for a league that most of you guys will have loaded, the Portuguese 1st Division, playing for Sporting. At least he's in their under-19s team, and he is a really nice player for a 17-year-old striker. Some good technical attributes, exactly what you'd want from a striker, a decent level of technique, passing, first touch, finishing and dribbling, so you've got plenty of room to grow. Yes, he's not really standing out in any particular area. I'm not going to pretend that he's lightning quick or super strong or really good mentally. He's neither of them. But for a 17-year-old, 6'2", nice bit of determination, some good attributes to build up of. Spend less than £500,000, stick him in your youth team, he'll probably be one of your better youth team strikers. A few years on, you're either going to sell him for a big profit or he might feature for your first team. I think he's definitely worth the pickup. Chances are they won't miss him because they seem to produce Wonderkids in Football Manager like wildfire, so they're not going to miss him. Buy him and I'm sure he'll do great for your guys' sides. Okay, final player in today's list. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the like button, comment down below if you signed any of these or any players I've missed out, and subscribe for more content. Feel free to check out my channel linked in the description, but we're going to finish off here with Kareem Kanate playing for ASEC Mimosas. I like that team name, Mimosas. I don't know why. I just like it. Anyway, they are a team in the Ivory Coast in the 1st Division there. And yeah, Kareem is a very nice striker for the price you can get him for. Again, another one where if he was in a bigger division, he's going to cost you a lot less. He's actually apparently being paid nothing to play for this club, so a bit brave of them to ask for a few £100,000 for him. I really like him because physically and mentally he's got a really nice base set to build up of. I know I say that about a lot of players, but that's all you really want in a 16, 17, 15-year-old. When they're a little bit older, yes, you want some defined attributes, but all you want right now is a few 12s, 13s, 14s, where you can just pick what you want. Let's say you want to develop that anticipation over the years and you can focus in on that, but you don't have to worry about the fact that his aggression and bravery are already at a good level, that kind of thing. That's why I like them, because some youngsters might be super quick but lacking in a load of different areas, and some might be a really good finisher but can't run. I just like when they've got a nice overall spread, and then you can kind of choose what kind of player they become, what kind of player suits your team. I would say he does lack on the technical sides, but he'll get there. He's 17-year-old. The Ivorian might be a good pickup if you've got ASEC Mimosas loaded in your save. But anyway, that's all the players in today's list, guys. Hopefully I've enjoyed it. And with that being said, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.